Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello everybody, welcome to our Team Tuesday this week with Robert Bries. And Robert, welcome back.
Thanks, Vasco. Happy to be here.
So we'll talk about teams in a minute, but before we dive into that, yesterday we left the episode with a tease about what was the book that you were about to mention. So let's dive into that right at the start. What's the book that most influenced you in your career as a Scrum Master?
So actually, to be really honest, I would say most influence in my career as an agile coach and kind of like agile trainer. Obviously, it has to be Large Scale Scrum by Craig Larman and Bas Vodde, and also the other two books that they have written in 2009 and 2011 about large scale product development, because they actually they guided me in like wanted to become a large scale Scrum trainer and teach those mindsets, this principles of large scale development to others. But when it comes to Scrum Master and the job of kind of like servant leader within a team, the book that I recommend to every single Scrum Master that I work with is actually The Skilled Facilitator by Roger Schwartz. And I think it's one of those books that, well, unfortunately didn't get the same attention as like nonviolent communication, like from Marshall Rosenberg, but is for me in the really same category, because it dwells on the kind of a mindset that you want to create within team, actual real team. And I'm like, we talked yesterday about this kind of the retrospective prime directive and what we want to create with that. And this is exactly where the book goes to. It distinguishes between two types of mindset: the unilateral control mindset, where you are in the thinking of, I'm right, you are wrong. I have the right information. You might not have that specific information, and that's why you don't get it. I win, you lose. It's like always in this, I want to control this. I want to be in control. Now, the other mindset that is the most productive mindset within a team is the so-called mutual learning mindset. And the mutual learning mindset, there is no right or wrong. There is like, we all have our own perspective of things. We all have made our experience. So you might have your experience and your views, and I might have my views, and by putting those together and building upon that, we can create something awesome. So there is no you win, I lose, or I win, you lose. Is like we're not playing chess anymore or some other game where there's a winner or loser. We are playing a cooperative game. A game where we both win, like puzzle. We're not playing chess, we're playing puzzle. Like we both win together. And you want to create this kind of mindset within your team, right? And that's why this book influenced me so much. I went to actually to Roger Schwartz's course in the US, in Northern Carolina, which is a 5-day intense course where you get the chance to practice this mindset. You think about the most difficult situation that you ever faced, and you try to approach it by showing a different type of behavior and stating your views and with genuine questions, and share all your relevant information and things like that in order to create this kind of mindset.
Absolutely. And so the Skilled Facilitator by Schwarz, and I will put the link on the show notes so that everybody can go and check it out. And now we turn our attention into that focus, the core of our work, the team. So, Robert, tell us a story of a team. Give us a little bit of context so that we may know where they are, and then walk us through how, over time, this team started developing these small at first patterns that eventually grew and became a problem for the team.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah. So in this situation, what I was dealt with was that I was supporting a team that had a fixed delivery with a fixed timeline, a fixed budget, and a fixed scope. And this is kind of the situation where it becomes pretty obvious that they are in a very bad situation to deliver what is asked for them, and people try to deal in different ways in such in such situations. So, for example, what the situation that I was confronted with was that we were building an e-commerce platform, and there were multiple teams working on it, and each team had their own product owner, and each product owner, which was actually a product manager from the business side, had the challenge to introduce different type of products in this e-commerce platform. So the one was focusing on internal products that should be able to, the customer should be able to buy, and so on. Others were working with partners, and they were trying to introduce their partner products within the platform and so on. So they all had kind of like their own...
And all of this at the same time.
At the same time, exactly. And the same milestone, because, which was fixed. It was a date where the company had a huge conference with 30,000 people. And the chief marketing officer was supposed to go in front of the crowd and show this platform that was not existing at the point, while we were working on it. So there was this fixed deadline that we couldn't move. And obviously, each of these product managers that were working with one team, they had their own specific goals, and even their salary bonus and stuff depended on how much of this kind of deliverables they actually been able to deliver within this platform at the end of the year. And this creates a lot of kind of self-destructive patterns, because then each of this product manager were looking at how to locally optimize their delivery, how to make sure that the stuff that they are supposed to be deliver within their their scope is at the end part of this e-commerce platform. Yes, so that's a very kind of.
So I imagine that this created a lot of fighting, a lot of trying to get their work prioritized. How did you end up solving that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, we realized pretty fast that this kind of local optimization on kind of team level creates a lot of problems in the whole system. in the whole group, in the whole, product development group that was working together. Because, optimizing on a team level leads to sub-optimizing on things that should work through the whole system. And my solution for that was actually to make sure that we have a common understanding within the whole group, within the whole product management, all this kind of product, so-called product owners, come together regularly, at least twice a sprint, and look at where we stand and what do we need to still do in order to have a successful delivery at that milestone, at that conference. So I actually introduced kind of a meeting before the product backlog refinement workshops of each team and before the sprint planning, where we were looking with all the so-called product owners at that one product backlog, or the product backlog build of the different smaller product backlogs, to understand that it's it's not enough if we can deliver small pieces of the product, but at the end we don't have a good working customer experience, and we don't have a real good e-commerce platform that has a good customer experience and works fine for all the customers. So I asked them actually to prioritize all the different packages, all the different work that is needed on team level within the whole group. So I asked them to create a priority of everything within the different product backlogs. And this led actually to having only one product backlog, even though it was spread it over team product backlogs, but because there was a kind of sorting and prioritization from 1 to 100 for each package, then we actually created this kind of real product owner.
So what you tried to do was to kind of get them to collaborate so that they would step out of their kind of, I guess,
Correct.
siloed view and try to understand, how do we work together, right? Like how does my part help your part? And we can reach that, of course, deadline, which was already there, right?
Exactly. That's what we did. We used user story mapping for that, the technique from Jeff Patton, in order to focus on like the whole picture and the most important parts. And we collaborated regularly, twice a sprint together, and we made this kind of, we were forced to make big decisions on priorities together, which at the beginning created a lot of conflicts and chaos. And to be honest, the only way how this could have, how this was solved, is by escalating to the chief marketing officer, the person who was in charge and was presenting this platform later at the conference, who then called out a designated person who at the end made the final decision. Yes, this is more important than this, and this is more important than that. So by that actually called out the one product owner, or so others call it, the chief product owner. I like to call it the product owner. That was then in charge of the product backlog and made this ultimate decision of what is most important, what should we focus on the next sprint, so that we can have at least something that might not be the full product, but a version that in worst case we go live with it, we show it, and it works. So that was the whole.
And that's a really great story to illustrate that we can't solve systemic problems when we focus on the components of the system, right? Like we can't solve the priority question when we focus on priority at the team level. We have to go one level up, and that can only be done by collaborating, right? Getting all the product owners together. And yes, we may end up having an ultimate arbiter of priority. The chief product owner is what you called it. But the idea is that all product owners need to collaborate, because if they don't, then there's always information missing, context missing, and of course the wrong decisions get made.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah.
That was a great story. Thank you for sharing that, Robert.
My pleasure.
Tuesday is Team Day here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. But tomorrow we talk about something that goes beyond the work we do with the teams. We will talk about how to lead change and what our guests have learned from leading and participating in change programs during their career. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.